everybody! Do you want to know who my top 20 Leaf prospects are? Well, I'm not going to tell you because I hate doing those. Every season around this time of year, it started a few years ago, blogs like theleafsnation.com will do their top 20 Leaf prospects. Pension Plan Puppets is doing their top 25 under 25. And my hatred for this format started when I was managing theleafsnation.com. Why do I keep walking from side to side? Okay, I'm going to stick to this one, alright? I shouldn't say hatred of the format, alright? It's actually really smart. If you do a top 20 Leaf prospects, you get to write a post on every single one of those top 20 prospects. That's 20 posts, plus they do an honorable mentions, plus a post for prospects who didn't get any votes at all. That's 22 posts. That's a ton of traffic, not to mention you, the reader, you get to read in-depth posts about each Leafs prospect. What I hate deeply and bitterly are the rankings. Because you get into these ridiculous arguments like, okay, who's number one? Austin Matthews, super easy, alright? Who's number two? What do you mean, who's number two? It's clearly Mitch Marner. What are you, an idiot? It's clearly Nylander. And then you eventually figure that one out, and you get 1 and 2 and 3, and then it's like, alright, I have Kasperi Kapanen number 4. What are you talking about number 4? I have him number 9. What are you talking about? I don't even have him on my chart. I have him 13. I have him 5. Who cares? And I discovered the problem. We are listing them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are wasting our time on trivial crap. I have a new way to rank prospects, not just for the Leafs, but for every team. Are you ready for it? A pyramid. Let me just fix it. Alright, that's acceptable. No, I'm not saying this is perfect. I'm just saying this is what keeps me the most sane. Rather than ranking prospects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, tiers. First tier, second tier, third tier, fourth tier, fifth tier. What comes after that, boys and girls? Sixth tier. You got it. Who's on the top tier? I bet you know. Austin Matthews. Now, who do we put in the second tier? Well, who's the Leafs' second best prospect? Is it Mitch Marner? Is it William Nylander? Marner, Nylander, Marner. Tell you what, they're both going to be pretty sick, right? It kind of looks that way. Why don't we put them both there? There! Problem solved. And if you talk about me writing Marner first, I'm going to choke you. Now, before we get to the third tier, let's talk about some people I am not including as Leaf prospects. No Josh Levo, okay? He's played a bunch of NHL games over a bunch of seasons, and he's 23. He's something, not quite an NHLer, not quite an AHLer, not quite a prospect. Justin Hall, brand new signing, he was with the Marlies last year. 24 years old. Not a prospect! Nikita Zaitsev, still in his early 20s or something like that, but if he goes to the AHL, that's a disaster. The guy's destined for the Leafs, not a prospect. But you can make the same arguments about Austin Matthews. Do you want me to get through this? And Connor Carrick. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a great reason for why I'm not putting him as a prospect, but I'm not. It's my video, too bad. Now, who's in my third tier? We got Conor Brown, Kasperi Kapanen, Andreas Johnsson, and Travis Dermott. While Brown isn't exactly projected to be like a Mitch Marner or a William Nylander, he's been a stud in the AHL. Looks like he's going to be pretty good. Kasperi Kapanen, not as high up as some of the guys I'm even going to put in the fourth tier, but he projects to be a little higher, and he's scoring in the AHL at 19 years old. Andreas Johnsson looked absolutely fantastic in Europe. Absolutely fantastic in 3 playoff games with the Marlies until he got taken out with a dirty hit. I'm putting him there because I really believe in him. And Travis Dermott is probably the Leafs' best defensive prospect. Third tier, number 4. 9 different players. Nikita Zaitsev, Brendan Leipsic, Kirby Reichel, Jeremy Bracco, Dmytro Timashov, Tobias Lindberg, Andrew Nielsen, Grunstrom, I don't even know his first name, and Zach Hyman. Now imagine all the meaningless arguing we would have been going through making this list. Imagine the comments. It'd be a fire ranking these 9 guys. They put him here, put him there, doesn't matter. All in the same thing, and I'll tell you why. Soshnikov was a solid contributor in the AHL with limited minutes, and when he came to the Leafs, he was on the top line, produced decently on a pretty terrible team, and his possession numbers were nice. Brendan Leipsic, we all got to see him score that goal against Vancouver, and it was so magical and wonderful, but really not that much of an NHL impact. However, in the AHL, I thought he looked fantastic. His skating was great. The way he brings the puck up the ice was great. I think he's really got it, but not quite a Brown or a Marner, Nylander, Matthews. Being in the fourth tier is not a bad thing, guys. Kirby Reichel, might be ranking him too high, but supposedly he's supposed to be pretty good. Jeremy Bracco, the way people are talking about this guy, even like Corey Pronman, I think had him in his top 100 prospects, something like that. Maybe I should have him up here in the third tier. Maybe even shove him into the second tier, but I tell you what, He's been good in junior. Let's see what he does in professional hockey before we rank him even higher. Or if he goes back to junior this year and absolutely smashes it. Dmytro Timashov, exact same boat. He wowed at the World Juniors. Looks like he's going to be a, what was he, a 5th round steal? Maybe I should have put him in the 3rd tier. 4th tier for now. Again, not a bad thing. Tobias Lindberg, you remember him. He came over in the Dion Phaneuf trade. You know what? At times he looks like he can absolutely crush at the AHL level. At times, he's a healthy scratch and he looks like he deserves it. Kind of like a young JVR, or at least according to Flyers fans. When he turns it on, he's amazing if he turns it on. Maybe one day we'll put him here, or even here. Andrew Nielsen, he looked good on the Marlies, and he had a stellar showing in junior. He's probably the 2nd best left-handed Leaf defender prospect. And we got Grundstrom, again, I don't even remember his first name, but everyone's telling me he's supposed to be good. And finally, Zach Hyman, he lacks the flash of a lot of these guys, but a solid player who Sheldon Keefe with the Marlies loves, Mike Babcock seems to love, had a great showing with the Marlies, had a great showing with the Leafs. I think he could be an NHL player, just not an 80-goal per season one. 5. Holy smokes, did I just save you so much time. I put 9 guys in the 5th tier. Really? You're going to argue back and forth about where to rank in order guys in your 5th tier? So who are some of the guys we have in this tier? All right, well, you got Freddie the GOAT, Freddie Gauthier. You got Renat Valiev, Victor Louvre. Those are 3 guys who have played NHL games with the Leafs. Who knows? They could play a couple dozen with the Leafs, 50, 100, maybe even 200. Serviceable. Guys that don't project to be superstars, but they could be there, and we know that because, well, we've seen them. Yegor Korshkov, I'm not gonna lie, is in there because he was a, I think, 2nd round pick of the Leafs, and maybe the least talked about 2nd round pick of all time, other than people going, who the hell is that? But he scored a highlight reel goal for Russia in some tournament recently. I rest my case! Then we get into potential late round steal territory, alright? You got Brooks, who was just drafted, Jerkhouse from a couple years ago, Greenway, Lindgren. They look like they might be okay, but they're late round picks, and let's face it, do you know much about them? No, neither do I. And lastly, JJ Piccinich, who I don't even think the Leafs have signed, but he was great with the London Knights last year. I believe his first year in the OHL, overshadowed by Mitch Marner. He's going to have to really, really crush it in the OHL this year in order to get consideration from the Leafs, but could be a decent offensive player. Last but not least, Tier 6. Are you ready? Everybody else, every other Leafs prospect, maybe they were just drafted, maybe they're unsigned from a couple years ago, maybe they've been buried in the AHL, I don't know, but they're down here and we're not going to argue about it. There's too many of them, guys. There's too bloody many of them. And if there's a prospect who the Leafs currently have who's not on this list and ends up making it, then you can take this video and make fun of me. I'm giving you permission. I've been on YouTube for 9 years. I can take it. Oh yeah, you think people on Twitter are mean? Let me tell you about YouTube comments in 2007. So this is my idea. The prospect pyramid. Is it perfect? No. It's a little bit flawed. Why are there 6 tiers? I don't know. I just kind of came up with it. Why is this guy here? Why is this guy here? I don't know. I gave my opinion on that. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what? You can't prove it until we actually see how their careers turn out. So save this for like 8 years down the road. I think ideally I would have a forward pyramid, a defender pyramid, goalies, whatever. You have 4 or 5 of them, just rank them, that's fine. But with this pyramid, we don't have to argue about whether you think Kapanen is their 4th best prospect or 15th best, or whether or not Soshnikov is the 19th best player the Leafs have under 25. Are you on drugs? So, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm sure you're gonna rip apart who I had in whatever tier, but let me know what you think about the concept of the prospect pyramid. And all the blogs out there, if you think it's a neat idea, go ahead and steal it. Prospect pyramid, I mean, give a little credit to your boy. But we got a long season of hockey ahead of us, okay? We got the World Cup right around the corner, we got the preseason, regular season, bunch of outdoor games. I don't even know how many Chicago are in. We're gonna have the playoffs, we're gonna have the draft, we're gonna have the expansion draft, and free agency, and you will thank me when I saved you a couple minutes with the prospect pyramid. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends, and you can thank me later.